So I feel like no matter what I say, it's either going to just piggyback off what the bottle says or it's going to counter what the bottle says.
That's probably a good assumption.
I mean, that's the way I wrote my papers in high school. With the Cliff Notes. So.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 40 of The Mashup. This is the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Michael, Anthony, and Steven. Hi guys.
Sounds like John Tesh on Kiss 96.9 FM there.
Well, that was
a little soft rock.
That was my best NPR.
There you go. I like it. I mean, I said you're the voice that got us here. So, you know, over 40th episode, you got to do what got us here, right?
40, that sounds old.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 40, I have a little medical minute to bring to everyone this week.
Oh, that sounds like a new segment.
Is that official?
Maybe.
We'll see how it goes. We'll test run.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right, so for the medical minute, about 8 to 10 months ago, I sustained an injury on my Achilles.
Okay.
It was running late one night, and I jumped up to a curb. Well, I stepped on the forefoot, and all my weight went on my heel. And so I did like some micro tears, and apparently on my Achilles. Since then, I've kind of been old man getting out of bed in the morning. It's really stiff, and I kind of let it warm up.
Okay.
So I finally decided to go to physical therapy for it. So I've been going out for a couple weeks, and they're starting to, I guess, relieve some of the tendons that are on the bone. They're wanting to make sure they're moving.
Okay.
So they put this gel on there, and they put these, and they kind of like scrape up and down.
Like electrodes or something?
No, this is just with the,
Butter knife.
Butter knife, basically.
Okay.
So, I have to lay on my stomach for all this while they're working the Achilles area. And in my head, I have an image of what they're using to rub out my leg. It feels like, a piece of, let's say, a little disc of plastic with like a curved one end and a kind of a sharp other end, and they're kind of rubbing up and down. And so today we're talking, and I leaned back, looked back, and said, was going to point to the area that I felt good and hurt. And what they were rubbing on my leg with, I had no idea what it looked like.
Oh, jeez.
I looked back, and it seriously looked like a dildo.
Oh my God!
I got so many questions.
and I did everything I could to not just bust out laughing. It was like this clear 4-inch shaped thing.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's buying a 4-inch dildo.
Yeah. And I went back and I was like, that's not what I imagined it looking like. And I don't think they caught on.
You're like,
I went to the wrong clinic, didn't I?
So what are your questions?
What color was this?
Clear.
Clear. Okay, so they went with the silicone, I see. Okay.
oh my God.
That's always a good choice, I've heard.
I can't even get it. I'm not going to comment.
Did it have a name?
5 minutes.
I didn't catch it.
You should have named it.
Why do I have to name it?
Well, ask them if they had a name.
Well,
Next time, ask them.
that seems a little,
I guarantee you they have a name for it.
seems a little intimate.
They've got a name. You can't be the first person to say that. So
I guess, what am I missing in life? Sports injuries, right?
Imagine what the basketball and football teams have for.
I mean, I guess in, the days of COVID, they can't use it for other things. So
Oh, girl. Gosh.
rubbing on somebody's foot's a little safer than,
Yeah.
using it for its intended purposes.
So this concludes our medical minute.
Oh my God. I think we might have to bring back the medical minute. That's kind of crazy. That's
Yeah, I don't know about that. I didn't know where he was going with that. It was one of those stories where you're like, okay, we need to wrap this up. And then I'm like, whoa,
what in the
where are we
world?
going now here?
We can,
Hey, since we were talking about listeners just real quick,
yeah.
I got to give a shout out to our boy Randall who listens, who's going to be opening a restaurant here in town.
Oh yeah.
Can I tell you how excited? It's along the lines of Steven's Medical Minute. He is opening a hot dog restaurant. So,
It's not just hot dogs. It's going to be hot dogs and Italian beef. And those of you who are familiar with Chicago, right? There's a lot of places there that do the Italian beef, hot dogs, and other types of Italian, well, not Italian, but Chicago fare. And so he is going to be opening, he said, by hopefully the first of the year.
yeah, I don't remember. It's like a block from my work, though. So,
Yeah, I'm going to be committed. I'm going to be supporting Randall
calling
hardcore.
them for some lunch.
Yeah, for sure. And if we're thanking people that listen, I would like to thank, my family that listens, and also our super fan from Cleveland, Jeff. We've mentioned Jeff before. He gives us feedback, and makes fun of us for things. Like he made fun of us for the Willett episode with Metallica. So yeah, good for you, Jeff. And some new listeners like my buddy Landon I just met, really good guy. And he's dedicated. He's listened to, I think, almost all of our episodes. So big shout out to him as well.
Well, this week we have a new bottle, the Remus Repeal Reserve Batch 5.
All right. This is a bottle I've been wanting to try for a long time, so I'm glad we have it here tonight. This is a MGP distilled product, and it's actually part of MGP's distillery line. So they're actually releasing their own stuff now. They used to source for years. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But now they're actually bottling their own stuff. So bottle date is 2021. ABV is 50%. Proof is 100. And the age is ranged from 12 to 15-year-old bourbon. So there's actually 5 different distillate compositions in this particular product. And so it's ranging anywhere from 2005 to 2008 bourbon, and it's between the high and low rye mash bills. So the high rye mash bill is obviously the 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley. And the low rye mash bill is 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. And the MSRP on this one is $90.
So I learned something. This is batch 5 of the George Remus Repeal Reserve. I've seen this online, and I saw the V, and I just thought the V was like an initial of his.
There you go.
So thought it was Remus V, and I just thought that was the name of it. Also, this is going to go down with Victor's and Anthony's last name and things that Stephen can't pronounce. So he tried 3 or 4 times, and he couldn't get it right. So whatever you get on the episode, that's what the best he could do. I'll give it a shout out for this bottle. I got to give him some credit. Like, I'm amazed at the number of shapes bottles can be at 750 milliliters. Like, it's amazing that they're all the exact same amount, but they are all completely different in shape and size. And some of them you look at and you're like, there's no way there's 750 milliliters in that. And then there's some you're like, that seems like a whole lot more than that. I like this bottle. It's got the Art Deco to it. Steven mentioned that it looked a lot like what 1792 tries to do with their commercials and their ads, and straight lines and the black and the gold. So when I look at it, first of all, it's got the nice real cork on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a real cork with George Remus's signature on the cork.
Really?
So, yeah.
Is that authentic? Can we get somebody in here to check that live ink?
What's like we used to, you open up the baseball card package and see if you got one in the inside with had a autograph.
Yeah.
You open up the cork, there it is, right there. So I look at this bottle and it's like the Cliff Notes of bottles. All the information you need for this bourbon without even having to try it is on the outside of this bottle. It's got the percentage of bourbon or whatever it is, the medley is what they call it, of each year that they put into this. It's weird. I don't understand all that. But then on the back, it's got every note. So it'd be interesting to see what we think about the notes, because it's got on here, it says, it leads with dry fruit, rich caramel, maple syrup, roasted nuts, and leather. The beginning includes rich toffee and vanilla, followed by chocolate, glazed nuts, and oak. The finish offers candied fruit, caramel, baking spice, and a light, lingering oaky rye spice. I mean, they just give it all to you right
That's
there.
a lot.
Like, you don't even have to try. Keeping with our theme of old white men on a bottle,
Yeah.
Mr. George Remus right here on the bottle.
He's looking dapper.
So this is the Repeal Reserve. And so when you look at it on the back, it says, Prohibition was repealed in the United States with the passage of the 21st Amendment to the United States Constitution. To commemorate this milestone, we created Remus Repeal Reserve. It has nothing to do with Prohibition. Like, they just, decided they were going to add that in there. It's not like it, came out on a certain date, or they made it the way it did before Prohibition. Like, they just decided, you know what, we're just going to throw this fact on here and then connect it to our name,
Yeah, and, I was thinking maybe they can release, because they produce all kinds of spirits at MGP, maybe they can produce a Al Capone bathtub gin brand pretty soon, right?
Oh, that'd be nice. Is that the what's the liquor we have that has the we don't have it, but I've seen it at the store. The one that comes in the the Tommy gun shaped
Oh
bottle.
yeah, I don't know what's in there.
I don't know
but,
what that is,
You know,
but-
that'd be fun.
Yeah, that's the Al Capone
Like,
bottle there.
you go. I'm over here joking about bathtub gin, but someone probably already released that. Yeah.
They need to do a Breaking Bad bathtub.
Nice. George Remus, by the way, does look a little bit like Al Capone there in his hat.
Yeah, he
his
does,
suit,
actually.
You know anything about George Remus? Like
I don't
they don't
either.
tell anything about him on there. I don't even know if he's real. Like
How are you going to create a bourbon and name it after somebody and not say anything about the man? At least with Lee Sinclair, back with you know,
yeah, you know a little bit about him.
you know about Lee Sinclair now, right? You go to
Right.
French Lick and you're like, oh yeah, there's Lee Sinclair. He's there. You
Right.
know?
Yeah, exactly.
He's all over the hotel walls and everything at French Lick.
right.
but
you knew
not-
that Thomas Jefferson went around the world and put bourbon in his boat, right? Is that what we did? Oh, that was the agency, but that wasn't him. Never mind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Should we go for our first notes? So I feel like no matter what I say, it's either going to just piggyback off what the bottle says or it's going to counter what the bottle says.
That's probably a good
I
assumption.
mean, that's the way I wrote my papers in high school with the Cliff Notes. So,
And you worked at a bookstore?
and I worked at a bookstore. And I
It's
pointed,
a-
pointed
it's a-
everybody in the direction of the Cliff Notes.
Here's what I will say: it's a very rich nose, and the color of the bourbon is very nice. It seems to show some age on the color.
I agree.
So this is the same everything as the previous episode,
Only aged more,
only
and,
aged more.
and different mash bills. So
it's
the
the
one we
same, but
had
it's
from the
different.
previous episode was the high rye mash bill.
Oh, it's a
only.
different. Okay, never mind. So it's a different mash bill.
Well, this is a blend of 5, and only 3 parts of that blend are the high rye mash bill. The other 2 are the low rye mash bill.
Okay, well, all right.
So,
It's
yeah.
definitely darker.
Yep.
So I'm getting a lot of chocolate, like they said. I'm also getting soda.
What kind of soda? Like cream soda?
I guess so, because I'm getting a lot of the vanilla too.
Yeah,
And-
vanilla and chocolate are very more prominent on the nose than I've and dark fruit, and so
If you do a nice inhale, it coats your tongue.
Yeah.
It's a nice little like sugar treat, we'll call it.
yeah, it's very confectionery kind of forward, like very sweet. Yeah, very sugary. No, I like it. I know I've said this before, but like a cherry vanilla cola is kind of like
Yeah, definitely cherries in there.
Yeah, is what I get from this. I'd like to go back and revisit because I don't remember what episode it was that I talked about cherry vanilla cola, but I feel like it would have been maybe something that was MGP, but I don't know.
Well, let's go for our first taste.
It's very vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of good flavor.
Great mouthfeel.
Yep.
It coats it, but it's not
not-
real heavy.
It's not thick.
Yeah, it's not thick. It's real pleasant in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as thick as it smelled. Does that make sense?
Or as the
Yeah.
color will make you believe.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I think that, the percentages of the blend here are that most of the blend, so more than half of the blend is the youngest product, which is 12-year. But you don't know how or where these barrels are stored or what entry proof or anything they have to go through. I mean, at the end of the day, MGP is a big outfit. They're producing so many different spirits for not only for themselves, but a lot of other companies. And so
So what
definitely.
what does batch 5 mean?
It just means this is the 5th installation of Remus Repeal Reserve. So I've never had one before, and this is the first time I've ever tried this, but I've had a lot of MGP product, so I don't know. That's really what it means. Do you have any other things that you're tasting that are jumping out at you? Because I get a little bit of the finish has like a little bit of the leathery tobacco finish to me. I don't know if you guys taste that or not.
Okay, so I don't get a whole lot of notes. You all know that. But so my finish, I hope this doesn't give away my
It's not urine, is it?
no, it is not urine. It is not urine. However, it is in the excrement department.
Oh God!
Oh man, Steven told us that episode 40 was going to be close to an E rating. Here we go. No.
Yeah, here we go.
So my aftertaste is like the aftertaste you get after you vomit, and you kind of have that taste in your mouth.
Is it like maybe some tannins that you're tasting
Maybe
or
it
something
is.
that's like
Maybe
don't know.
it's the
barrel?
mouthfeel that's still coating your
Maybe
mouth.
it is. I don't know.
So is that like a scotchy feel? Because I've always associated scotch with that feeling of feeling like I'm going to vomit.
That would be
Sorry.
the pot still feel.
There you go. Pot still feel.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think
But
you
no,
just
no.
took the pot still and poured it
Yeah.
in this bottle.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have a good aftertaste to me.
Really? I've enjoyed the
Kind of leaves
taste.
your mouth really like, kind of got like a cotton mouth.
Like a dry?
Yeah.
Are you calling this a dry bourbon?
I guess it would be, yeah.
So it's drying out the mouth. I can see where you're coming from. It's interesting.
I mean, I'll give you that's a little dry, but I wouldn't think twice about it though.
Yeah.
It's just me. I don't know.
So guys, would you pass, try, or buy on this bottle of bourbon?
This really is painful. It's painful for me. I see Steven
I'm
laughing.
sorry. I normally say the name of the bottle, but I didn't.
It's the Remus. It's the Remus Repeal Reserve. But the painful thing for me on this one is I've had a lot of good old age MGP stock. I've had some old Scout bottles. I've had the OKI stuff. I've had at least enough to know what I like and what I don't like. And this to me is like solidly in the try or pass category, which is shocking because I really like that stuff. But for this, what we're trying for the first time, and I am a sucker for opening a bottle, drinking right out of it and thinking, man, this is the best thing I've ever tasted. And I don't feel that way about this. Even though it's not bad by any means. It's actually a very good bourbon, and it has a great mouthfeel. It has a lot of good things going on. I just, I guess the closest I'll come to like saying that I can't make a decision, but I'm definitely not in a buy category. I'm between either try or pass.
That's shocking.
Yep.
That's totally different than what I was going to say.
Hey, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I was going to be a buy, but you kind of took me down a little bit off of that, of some of the comments you just made. I've enjoyed the mouthfeel a lot. I know we don't say that a lot from the bottles we open. The nosing was pleasant, and the taste was nice. I'm not sure I'm getting overabundance on anything, but I've enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I'm somewhere between a try and a buy.
Okay.
I don't
Michael,
know.
no pressure.
I don't know if the price, maybe like if $90 for this bottle, am I just wanting more from it? I don't know. I've enjoyed every aspect of it though, so maybe that might be enough to say buy.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad bourbon by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder about, some of those early MGP 10, 9 to 10, 12, and
I don't know how much experience I've had on those other bottles.
those bourbons as a single barrel or whatever, they were amazing. And then even as recently as things like Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered, that bourbon, that's mostly MGP sourced, and I've had that on occasion a couple times. I'm just anyway, I'm interested to hear what Michael has to say.
Okay, so let me summarize here. Steven is a buy.
Fine, yeah,
Fine. Okay, he's a buy.
yeah.
You're
A soft buy.
You're in between a pass and a try. Is that right?
These are interesting.
I'm a soft pass, but maybe a try. Yeah,
Maybe a try.
What, a hard try?
hard try.
Okay, give it the old college try there.
College try, yeah.
All right, so I think I'm a try. I'm between a pass and a try as well.
Okay.
But probably a
Okay.
try. You all know my thoughts. I don't really like anything that's not from Kentucky. But maybe that's getting in, clouding my judgment. But at the same time, I don't care if it does or not. I don't really. It's okay. It's fine.
Maybe on like the notes and the palate, nothing is super strong.
Yeah, I wanted something to like kick me in the teeth.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
no,
maybe that's
I really wanted to
maybe that's
have
why I'm a soft buy, because there's nothing that's like the cherry note. There's like, wow, there's cherry, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or on the palate, a strong
That
strong
actually
note.
might be where it's at. That's where my disconnect is at. Is nothing is stand out about it. And like I've tried some different recent MGP source products that are higher proof and a lot higher proof. And there's just so much more standing out about them than there is in this bottle, which shocks me because I've seen some recent reviews of this against other very heavyweight products, and a lot of people have said, "Oh yeah, this is great stuff. Go buy it if you see it," and everything else. But I'm not convinced.
It's crazy because sometimes I judge I guess, the flavor profile of something by its color. And for this being, darker than the average bottle of bourbon, maybe I expect a little bit more, strength to come through on the notes and the palate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we see so much MGP out there for a really high price. So here's MGP putting out their own thing, and it's still a really high price. That I have a hard time paying $90 for something that, I understand, like, when you source it out to somebody, they got to make money, you got to make money, everybody's got to make money, so, you're going to charge a lot more. But $90 seems like a lot of money for a bottle that...
Oh, I mean, it's 12 to 15-year product.
Yeah.
No, but I get where Michael's coming from with that, and I see
Still
where
a lot of money
as well. It's still a lot of money, and the other thing is people didn't know those were standout barrels when they were buying them back in the day. They just assumed, oh, I like this brand, I like where they're bottling it from, and even Boone County, I don't want to leave them out. They bought a lot of MGP product as well that was very sought after, and it sells for massive amounts. So I think it's almost like if you look at OKI, Boone County, Old Scout, other brands that have sourced old MGP product, they're getting like $400, $500, $600, $1,000 a bottle on the secondary market. So then MGP is like, we're going to pull old stock, we're going to blend, and when we blend, we're going to put it together in this bottling, and it's going to be whatever it is. So offering it at $80, $90 a bottle, I get it, but it doesn't stack up to me.
Yeah, I don't like paying $90, but that's me, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really enjoying the nosing.
No, it's definitely
I
good.
poured a second glass, and
here's
right
the
off
thing.
the bat, it was good.
I don't want to say that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that I expected more from what I don't know. Maybe I had too high of expectations. From everything I've heard and what I've seen.
You got to think that the company is going to pick the best for themselves.
You would hope so, yeah.
Right.
And they've done a lot now. They have I think 7, 8 or 9 labels that they do. They bought a lot of their own rye and a lot of things that, for a long time, like anybody like Kentucky Rye, I know we said on a previous episode, that's all MGP product. Now it's like they're bottling their own stuff. So where's the good stuff they're bottling?
Okay, so this is the 12 to 15-year range of their own product. Are they sourcing any of that to anyone else? Like, what other brands out there have their 12 to 15 year?
They might be, but I'm not sure if they're sourcing. I don't know, because the ones that had it before are not doing it right now. Like OKI is 5 and 6 year old product, so is Old Scout. So
where's William Tarr coming from?
I'm not sure. Is Tarr?
Because I know they have a 15, 14, whatever.
Yeah, they could
straight
have
off of Manchester Street,
State Street. That's coming from underneath the stadium. It's aged with sound.
It's a time capsule.
You didn't know that.
they got 9 years
Those
stuff.
bourbon barrels
Stoop
been buried.
started distilling it when he got here. No,
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it might be MGP. I'm not sure,
I think it might be too. Yeah.
but it's also $300 for a
That's true.
12-year.
Yes, but look back on what we talked about. We did Natural Barrel Rye, right? I told you guys Natural Barrel Rye when we reviewed that was, I think, 7 or 8 year old MGP, and I said in that episode that we had a guy who runs a company that has to have connections because the rye was. I know we disagreed on that one, but it was very good, and you could definitely tell it was well aged and everything else. So I just think there's a lot of different barrels coming from MGP. That's the bottom line. There's just so many different barrels coming from them, and you'd hope they'd pick their best for their own, but I don't know. That's possible.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, please rate and review us on Apple Podcast. Until next time, keep it neat.